What's going on, everyone? Welcome on into Coffee with Brodes. How are we on this hump day, on this Wednesday, middle of the week, grinding through? We're almost halfway home to Friday. So, what's going on, everyone? We had some 76ers action last night. They were unable to clinch. Ben Simmons and the offense struggled down the stretch, specifically the entire second half. The third quarter, they scored 13 points. The fourth quarter, they scored 19 points, so it was pretty brutal. On top of that, the Phillies bounced back with a big victory. At a cost, though, you do lose JT Realmuto. It seems like it won't be an IL situation, which is huge, but that's kind of where we are. The Eagles released the game one of their schedule. They're going to be on the road against the Atlanta Falcons, so we do know that. And we're going to wait for leaks to dwindle throughout the day and until the program at 8 o'clock on NFL Network. You know what I'm saying? So cheers, everyone. Welcome on in. Enjoy your coffee with me today. That's what we love to do here on this show. Make sure you have your cup of Joe with you. I sure have mine. I'm ready to chug it. I need it. I need a fat chug so I can feel it through my veins a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? There it is. There's that Wawa satisfaction. So what's up, everyone? What's going on? Arm Zebra, Furcon, Cork Moss, Angus, Heels, Giants, Phillies, Nets, The Process. Brian, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with me on this Wednesday morning. There's no way I'm blaming Ben Simmons because Danny was 2-9 and Mike Scott sucks. Well, I'm not saying it's fully on Ben Simmons, but to act as if his flaw isn't a part of the issue is naive. You're right. It doesn't fully go on Ben, and it shouldn't fully just go on Ben. But to act as if him not shooting was a problem in the half-court slowed down game in the fourth quarter and how things intensified a bit and his lack of a shot did not impact those moments, well, that's being naive. It did. It did. His inability to shoot a basketball absolutely factored into why we saw what we saw in the second half. It's not the only reason why. It's not the only reason. There's plenty of reasons why, as you alluded to it. Mike Scott sucks. Danny Green missed shots. There's plenty of factors. To act as if Ben Simmons is not a part of that factor, though, well, that's it's not justifiable. Not justifiable at all, to be honest with you. George Hill looks average. Well, he's a bench player. I don't know what you expected George Hill to be. George Hill is a veteran ball handler that's going to be playing 6-man minutes in a rotation where a lot of the starters are going to be playing 37 minutes. He's going to help slow down the offense and make educated decisions, make experienced decisions. Just slow down the team and make sure that the offense runs in a smooth way in a half-court set. If you expected George Hill to come to this team and be Joel Embiid, well, I think your expectations were just a little bit flawed. There's a lot on the table for what happened yesterday, as I alluded to. You don't have players like Joel Embiid. You don't have Matisse Thybulle. You don't have Shake Milton. You don't have some of your players, so you were forced to rock with Isaiah Joe. I mean, Isaiah Joe's out there hitting big buckets in the fourth, but when you're relying on Isaiah Joe in the fourth quarter and Mike Scott in the fourth quarter, you are naturally going to see some probably disappointing offense and some disappointing possessions, and that's the reality of the situation. I think you just have maybe fault. I mean, George Hill is, in the grand scheme of things, he is an average NBA player, but he gives you that calm down smoothness that you need with the second unit. I mean, let's be realistic. We're talking about a veteran bench player. What's your expectations on a veteran bench player, please? Am I blaming Ben Simmons for the loss? No. Is he a part of the loss? Oh, absolutely. Is his major flaw an issue with this team still? And one of the reasons why your offense struggled late? Yes. Yes. He's your primary point guard. He's your primary ball handler. Yet your offense looked horrendous. You're telling me Ben has no impact on that at all. He had a great, it's a shame. It's a shame because he had a great 85% of the game. If you look at 85% of this game early on, it was amazing, and I loved it. Downhill, attacking. How about a little mid-range not floater, a little mid-range fadeaway jump shot? You saw all great things out of Ben. And then at the end, he ruined it. Oh, no, no, no. I'm not saying it's all on Ben. I'm not saying that. But yeah, it's a problem. And Doc Rivers' rotations are very flawed. There's no denying that. But last night, limited options. Limited options. So you're not going to throw Mike Scott in closing minutes. You're not going to have to run with Isaiah Joe. A part of the rotations last night specifically was due to the fact of personnel. Has Doc Rivers' rotations been flawed all year? Yeah. Is there a scare for me that he's going to try and force an all-bench lineup in the playoffs? Honestly, yeah. So that is a concern for me. It goes Ben Simmons and his issues and how that impacts the team and how other teams defend Joel. 2 is Doc Rivers and his rotations and his stubbornness that we've seen in the past that has costed him 3-1 series leads. $2 coming in here from Furkan Korkmaz. Sup, Hunter? Eagles win in week 1, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, as we know now, they are playing the Atlanta Falcons on the road, week 1, 1 o'clock. Should be fun. Should absolutely be fun. Kyle Pitts, huh? How about that? You're going to have to go bang, bang, bang. Go up right against Kyle Pitts, his first game in the NFL, to see what he's all about. That'll be fun. How is Jonathan Gannon going to have his defensive scheme set up? And how is Atlanta going to be able to rock with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and an offensive threat like Kyle Pitts? I feel like we play Atlanta so damn much. Doesn't it seem that way? I swear to God, every single year they're on the schedule, it seems. But unreal. Unreal. Can't wait. Can't wait to see this team play. And you get the goosebumps just thinking about something positive with the Eagles releasing. And I know it's the whole league, but just the fact that, before you know it, it's like I was walking yesterday to where was I? I was at I went to the park. I went to a local park here. And hold on, let me take a sip here. My arm's getting tired. I went to a local park to kind of get some fresh air yesterday, walk around a little bit. And I was thinking, while the Phillies just started, and by no means do I want to rush through a Philly season because you know how much I love rocking and rolling through 162 games, and it's one of my favorite seasons to break down. Football is going to be here before you know it. The NFL season is going to be here before you know it. It's already going to be Memorial Day. Seriously, 2 weekends, and we're talking about Memorial Day weekend. It's going to fly the hell by. And I'm just walking around thinking, that anticipation of second week of August, and normally there's a bunch of preseason games you're trying to get through. And like that first weekend of real NFL action, September, there's a little breeze in the air maybe because it's turning into fall, which is my favorite season of the entire year. It's like before you know it, football is going to be here. And now you know that NFL Tonight or an NFL Network and whatnot, they're going to have all the programs releasing the schedule. It's just crazy to think about how time flies. And before you know it, you're going to see Nick Sirianni on the sidelines in game day mode. And then you're going to hear him after a game try and justify some of his decision making and justify his actions. It'll be interesting. Zach Wheeler tonight. Thank you so much for Concord Match for the $2 though. Wheeler tonight. Yeah, I'm super excited for Wheeler tonight. It's Wheeler versus John Lester. So it's going to be a fun battle on the mound. Let's see how Zach Wheeler follows up that amazing performance. Will he give you 2 amazing performances in a row? Will he have command of all those pitches, all 5 of those pitches? Will we see the slider sliding? Will we see the curveball dropping? Will we see the fastball commanding? Will we see it all? Will we see the beautiness of it? I'm excited, though. I'm excited for Zach Wheeler and everything. The cutter. Are we going to see the cutter do what it did last game? Because the last time I saw it happen, my pants fell off in excitement because Zach Wheeler was just dialed in perfectly. Are we going to get that version? Yeah, what version of Lester are we going to get? David here in the chat goes, just talking about in general, Lester's performances against the Phillies. John Lester has a good record against this squad. He does. He's got a good record against him. So we'll see. Oh, you're going to the game tonight, Kevin. That's awesome, man. Old man Lester versus Real. That's exciting. I've yet to been to a game. I've kind of been looking through the schedule a little bit on what might work for me personally on with my schedule on a Phillies game day to see if I can head down to the ballpark because I got to get down there. It just sucks because I would say majority of the time the weekends would be the best for me, but um I host on the radio and whatnot pretty much Saturdays and Sundays, so it kind of limits me there. I'm trying my best though to try and sneak to the ballpark. I guess a day like today would. Oh wait, it's away. I'm like, well, I mean, I can make a trip down to the Nationals Park, get down there in the Washington D.C. Couldn't be too bad. Someone said something about being nervous for Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's back or something like that. I saw a comment out there where it says, can I not find it now? Somebody mentioned being nervous about Bryce Harper and his back. How can you watch yesterday and say that you're nervous for his back? I mean, yeah, there's obviously something to be said about his intense swing. Here it is. I was going too far up. Carson Wentz, of all people. See, now I don't know if that's a troll job because it was coming from a guy with the name Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz had back problems, or if this individual is actually just speaking about Bryce Harper's back, which there are concerns with it because of the violence of the swing. But I'm trying to see if there is a situation of a troll job. Oh yeah, I mean, especially in Washington, in the Nationals Park here, when you get booed that heavily and it's going to be a hostile environment, well, you're going to walk into there with a different sense of urgency, a different attitude, a different swagger about him, and he's going to want to kind of flip you off, essentially, is what Bryce Harper wants to do. So he put you on the board early. 1-0 lead for those fighting Phils yesterday. They end up getting a 3-0 lead, and from there, somewhat the offense gets quiet. Shocker. All right, he chimes back in here and says, nah, I'm actually serious. This is from Carson Wentz talking about the Bryce Harper back injury. Okay, well, from yesterday, what concerns you? I mean, I think Bryce has somewhat been what he's been. If anything, the wrist. The wrist when he got hit in the 97-mile-per-hour fastball, when he got hit in the face with that's what looked like it was more painful than the face, which is insane. Maybe that was the reason why he cooled off a bit. I mean, to me also, this is Bryce Harper. So if you're assessing what you've seen since getting hit in the wrist with, maybe he has back problems, I think it's more of this is Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is the streaky guy. Bryce Harper is scorching, insane, dominant, and then he cools off a bit, and then you wonder why he's striking out a lot, and is he going to get back? Oh, here's that month of Bryce Harper again, and then he calms down, and that's everyone. That's Rhys Hoskins. It's Odubel Herrera, as Mikey comments here in the chat and goes, Herrera getting hot? Yes, he is. He was on base 4 times yesterday. He had 2 walks and 2 hits. He started that rally in the 8th inning to produce more runs to give you insurance, which was needed because Hector Neris needed X amount of pitches to be able to get through, and he was battling with some of those hitters, and a few guys got on. You're like, okay, here we go, Hector. Can we shut the door? Odubel Herrera was big. He was also big earlier in the game. If you look at what happened I think this was the 4th inning, Odubel Herrera, Chase Anderson, and then Andrew McCutchen ended up knocking him in. So Odubel Herrera is getting hot. But this is what Odubel's going to bring you. He's going to bring you ugly play for about 2 weeks. He's going to give you Odubel, the hot Odubel, for a couple weeks. It is what it is. It's baseball. It's baseball. Yeah, Philly fans are always going to boo Odubel, and if you want to boo Odubel, you're allowed to. You're entitled to that. Not everybody's going to give him a second chance, and I'm aware. So if you want to boo Odubel because you feel he doesn't deserve that second chance, that's fine. I said I'd give him that second chance because I trust Dave Dombrowski and Joe Girardi's decision. I think they have way more information on it than we do. So I think that they are very intelligent human beings, and same with John Middleton, that justifying if they feel that he went through the proper protocols, paid his time, is a new man, feels like that changed his life for the better, and he came out a whole new man out of this, and they elected to do that. I have faith in them that they are good human beings and made the proper decisions to allow for that to happen. That's my assessment on it. That's how I feel about it. So from this point moving on, Odubel, I'm speaking about him baseball wise, and baseball wise, he's producing. He's giving you your best production. He went from like 080 batting average to what is he over? He's over 200 now. He's like 209 now. So this is what you get. This is the best option that you can get right now with your lineup. I hope JT's okay though. I don't think they're going to give up on Neris. How much longer until the team gives up on Neris? I'm sick and tired of Neris either blow or every game he pitches. Well, he doesn't. That's the thing. I know it feels that way, but he doesn't blow every game. It's just the only no one. It's funny, and I'm not a huge Hector Neris insane supporter. If they try something new, I'm here for it. But it's funny how just in baseball in general, this isn't necessarily tied to just Hector Neris. It's more just like a broad approach to a closer role. You can close 8 games out in a row, and then if you fail once, no one actually remembers the 8 saves that he did his job. It's only the one blown save that this guy sucks, this guy's pathetic. And once again, Hector Neris blows saves. I'm not telling you he's a perfect – he's an average closer. He's an average closer who closes out some games, who loses other games. He's not fully what I'm saying here in terms of 8 and then 1. But you can do your job. Let's say Hector does his job 3 games in a row, 4 games in a row. No one will talk about those 3 or 4 games in a row. They'll talk about that one blown save on the 5th game where it's, oh, man, this guy can't close out anything. Well, yeah, he can. He just closed out 3 in a row. It just, oh, well, he did his job then. That's what he's supposed to do. Yeah, well, closers blow games. I mean, it's just part of this. I don't feel confident. I think Jim Salisbury said it best. If you need a division clinching game, and here comes Hector Neris, do you feel the best? No, I don't feel the best. If you're talking about a NLCS, NLDS, a World Series, and here comes Hector Neris, do you think he has that gut to do it? No. Do I think for right now, where the Phillies are right now, and he's just your average closer, and you need to upgrade? I'm aware that if you're talking about a World Series team, you need to upgrade. My thing is, I don't believe on this team you have that guy. Quite frankly, I know it's not Jose Alvarado. You want to say it's Coonrod, but Coonrod makes mistakes too, and you'll see that when he closes. People want to say maybe Brandon Kintzler. I don't know why I always want to say Brandon Kintzler, because he's done it before. Maybe. Archie Bradley, I don't see him as the closer guy. I see him more as the setup guy. I just think that it's a little overblown with the Hector, as if we should expect him to be dominant. He's not dominant. We know what he is. So it's like he's an average closer. And I don't think you have anything more than an average closer in your other options. But I'm willing to find out. $2 again from Furkan Korkmaz. Thank you so much, Furkan. Hope the Phillies win the series versus the Nationals. Well, God, if they don't at this point, I'm going to be absolutely devastated. You got Zach Wheeler versus Lester, and you got Eflin versus a Patrick Corbin that has a 75,000 ERA this season. So I really hope to God at this point they set themselves up by winning one game. You're telling me they can't win one of the next 2 with those pitching matchups, with those pitching duels. We're going to be a little pissed off. All right, so I hope to God that they can find a way to win this damn series too against the Nationals. I'm going to be pissed. They got to win some series on the road now, fellas. It's time. They're 6-11 away from Citizens Bank Park. Let's go. Come on. Is Brogdon hurt? He pitched yesterday, and he had a really solid 8th inning. The only hit he allowed was that dribbler because there was a wide open gap right where a second baseman normally would be. But other than that, Connor Brogdon pitched. Connor Brogdon's been on the mound. No, he's not hurt. He's just going through a little bit of a funk, but he's kind of working himself out of that. But Connor Brogdon specifically pitched yesterday. Do you think the sweep is mandatory after what happened in Atlanta or how bad they are on the road? Just win the series. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to demand a sweep in any situation. I even said that against the Colorado Rockies, right? When they went into Colorado and Colorado stinks, you can't just demand to sweep every series. There is once in a while a time where, because based off of previous circumstances that it's like, dude, go do this. You have to go do this to make a statement. But ultimately, those are very rare and they come very limited in 162. Just you're playing a division rival. You're on the road. Excuse me. Go win the series. I'm not demanding a series sweep. That's very rare to do. They just did it in a 4-game set against the Milwaukee Brewers, and knowing that they don't play their best brand of baseball on the road, that's another reason it's going to be hard to demand that also. So, yeah, I'm just going to go with the philosophy of beat them. Beat them 2 out of 3. If you sweep them, fine. I'm not complaining. I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be pumped up. But for me to demand it, nah, I'm not going to demand it. Am I going to be more pissed than the tragedy in Atlanta? No, no. I mean, there's nothing. That's one in a million. That's one that haunts you for a while. You always talk about how, and I even brought this up specifically, and I'm probably wrong on it. At the time, I said, look, this is game 1 of 162. You're probably never going to fall back after the season's over and go, remember that game in Atlanta in game 35, 34, 33, whichever one it was. But those are one of those losses that do stick with you. Those are one of the ones that does sit in your stomach all season long. You never forget that game. You never forget that blow up where you had 3 leads, where you were up early, where you blew the lead, where Hector Neris had a 1-2 pitch with 2 outs. You were 1 strike away. That one does sit with you. That one you do tie back to at the end of the season if you end up coming up a game short. So that one is the one. That's a tragedy that sticks with you forever. Losing a series to the Washington Nationals is not going to feel that way at all. Yeah, you are going to have Toronto. Where does Toronto stand right now? I don't want to look too far ahead, but I don't know where Toronto stands because I know the Red Sox are starting to win some baseball games. Although, if I remember, they lost to the Orioles. Yep. Okay, so they lost to the Orioles on Monday, and then yesterday they lost to the Athletics, who are a hell of a baseball team. And they're 22-15 right now, this Oakland A's team, thanks to Cole Irving and his phenomenal play. Ridiculous. So I was just bringing that up because the Red Sox lost 2 in a row. The Blue Jays are 18-16. So they're in the same ballpark as the Phillies. They're not overwhelming. They're not absolutely insane. But you're on the road against a team that is over 500. So it's not going to be easy either at the same time. If I remember correctly, wasn't the Blue Jays the team where you had 2 disaster blown saves? It might have been 2 walk-offs last year with blown saves against the Blue Jays in one day, if I remember correctly. Yes, the Oakland A's and the MLB, they've been going back and forth for a while. If you listen to Jeff Passan was throwing it out there last night on SportsCenter for like a mini hit about how this has been going on forever. This is the drama with taxpayers' money and trying to build a new stadium. And it's been a cat and mouse game for a long time between the city and the Oakland A's and whatnot. But now it's starting to pick up the intensity. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. They're playing well, though. They're playing well. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the Royals. They started out extremely hot, and then they kind of started to fall apart a bit. They're 16-18 now. They're 1-9 in their last 10. So things have not been pretty for Kansas City. Not that I expected it to be as hot as it was when the Royals started the season out, but there's no way that that I don't think they're this bad either. How about those Dodgers? The Dodgers, once again, they're 3-7 in their last 10. They came back yesterday. The last I looked, they were down. They came back in the 8th inning. They were down. They actually scored some runs in that 7th inning as well. They were down to Seattle. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go again. They had 1 run through 6 innings, and then the Dodgers exploded. They definitely did. Where do you see that Anderson got stared down by Schwarber? No, I don't think I remember seeing that happen. I'm telling you, I'm still depressed about Saturday. That one is going to stay with me. Worst loss, decided joke. Well, I mean, to be fair, David, there's no way that regular season game, game 30 plus of the season, is ever going to seriously be compared to Joe Carter's home run. Like, look, I'm just as emotional as anybody else when it comes to a loss. Let me move my one monitor here. But there's no way that it's to the level of Joe Carter. I want to figure out the Toronto. I want to Google this because I want to figure out exactly what happened with. He always does that, man. Juan Soto always stares down pitchers. He does the scraping of the batter's box with his feet, and then he grabs his balls, he grabs his groin, he stares down, he licks. Here's the thing though. He backs it up. It's douchey, it's jerk off-ish, and I hate it. For someone who loves the bat flips, I think what Juan Soto does crosses the line a little bit. But with Juan Soto, he backs it up. He supports it. He's a star. He's a hell of a player. He's dominant. I mean, he's Juan Soto. So you can get away with it if your production is there. If you're Nick Maton, if you're, somebody else and you're a lower echelon player, not to throw shots at Nick Maton. I like Nick Maton, but when you're Juan Soto, you can get away with doing those antics out on the batter's box. I don't love it though. All right, Blue Jays walk off Phillies twice in one day. Let's see if that is. I remember August 20th. August 20th of last year. Was that it? Blue Jays pull off stunning 7-run rally to complete doubleheader sweep of the Phils. Gurriel drives in a run for a walk-off 3-2 win in earlier game. Yep, that's right. Okay. So it was game 1 and game 2. Blue Jays won 3-2 in game 1 because of a Gurriel walk-off. And then Blue Jays win 9-8 against the Phillies in game 2. A 7-run rally to complete the doubleheader. God, that is just disgraceful to think about that. Terrible, just terrible, terrible performance. You can't stand Soto? I can. Oh, I think it's great for baseball. I think I don't like him because he's on a rival, but I love him because of how damn good he is. Like, I can watch him. It's like Acuna. I love watching Acuna. Love watching Acuna. It's must-watch television. I feel the same way about Juan Soto. You just have to watch him. I want to get more into this crazy game back in that August 20th. If I remember correctly, I was on 97.3 then. And the first game we had a TV in the studio. So we were watching the game live when it happened. And we were just going nuts. We were just going absolutely nuts. The Phillies jumped out to a 7-0 lead in the first inning. Andrew McCutchen hit a 3-run double to cap off the frame after singling and scoring earlier. Hernandez hit a 2-run homer in the first for the Blue Jays, who didn't shrink the deficit any further until the 6th. Gurriel hit a 3-run home run. Jansen scampered home on a wild pitch by Hector Neris. Kay worked an inning of relief for the win as Toronto extended its winning streak to 5 games. Just crazy, man. Vince Velasquez settled down after Hernandez's homer and struck out 7 while allowing 5 hits over 5+ innings. He did retire 13 of 14 batters. Jeez, that's an insane situation to go down that you lost that game. A 7-run rally. Okay, enough of the bad times. The Phillies won last night. Here I am talking about when they blew two games in one day on walk-off fashion against the Toronto Blue Jays. No reason for that. No reason for that. The most emotional I got over a loss was that Kawhi Leonard shot. And to add insult to injury, it's May 12th. Is May 12th the day? Let's see. I would imagine so, or else you wouldn't be saying that. Kawhi Leonard Game 7 shot. Let's see what day that was on. May 12th. May 12th. Yeah, that was damaging. I'll never forget. I kind of just fell to my knees. I was watching like this, like standing right in front of the TV. And as soon as it happened, I just my body just collapsed. I fell to my knees. I was like, no, no, no. It was terrible. But as painful as it was, uh, I'm not going to say I'm over it. It's definitely a loss that you never forget, but I don't think it stings as much anymore. Here's why. I think that was huge for where we are with Joel. I don't think Joel gets to where he is now without that. You need to see that. You need to recognize that. You need to feel that. You need to experience that. That's part of your journey. I think when Joel Embiid is said and done in his career and he does documentaries and he speaks about, the turning point and what made him better and all this about everything that went throughout his career, there's going to be a defining moment that made him change into a different mentality and a change into, a different type of beast out on the court. And I think that play against Kawhi Leonard is going to be a huge spark into what he's become. And it's going to be a defining moment of Joel Embiid's career, of the change. What triggered you? What made you realize you needed to do this and that? What made you think about, okay, I need to add that next element to my game. I got to have a different mentality inside that Kawhi Leonard had. And I think that's big. So, that's an optimistic viewpoint on it, but it is strong. And I feel that way. You need to go through pains. You have to lose. Michael Jordan lost. Michael Jordan got swept in the first round. Michael Jordan will lose until he finally figured out how to adjust, how to adapt, how to attack. And then he became Michael Jordan. You need to do that. It happens. The best ever have to go through that loss. He went through that loss. $2 coming in from Furkan Korkmaz. Again, Pavetta somehow 5-0, 6-0, or 6-0 insane. Win-loss means nothing in baseball. It doesn't. We do this every day here with the Nick Pavetta slander, and I'll give it to you. I don't think he's as good as everybody's talking about. Playing the Baltimore Orioles, playing the Detroit Tigers. If your expectations of Nick Pavetta as a fifth starter, then he's giving you the fifth starter. That's fine. The expectations here for Nick Pavetta was never the fifth starter. He's giving you fifth starter type stuff. 5 innings, walking a lot of batters. Sometimes he'll give you 6, which is better than what Chase Anderson's giving you. But win-loss is such a go tell me how Jacob deGrom's doing in win-loss. Win-loss means nothing. It's 2021. It means absolutely nothing. What is Jacob deGrom? I know he got injured, but Jacob deGrom is 3-2. Whoop-de-damn-do about win-loss. How about this? He's 3-2 with a .68 ERA. 0.68 ERA with a 3-2 record. When I watch Nick Pavetta pitch, I watch a fifth starter, and that's fine. There's a role for the fifth starter. That wasn't his expectations here. His expectations were not that. He pitched 5 innings against the Tigers, 6 innings against the Orioles. When he faced a good team, the Chicago White Sox, 3 2/3. He's giving you about 5 innings of work. Okay. It's what you want out of Chase Anderson. If you're telling me Nick Pavetta and Chase Anderson are in the same conversation, by all means. By all means. Brodes, have you seen Chase Petty? Yeah, is that the let me see if that's before I go deeper into it. Is Chase Petty that story about the dude that was throwing gas at this facility and then he ended up getting picked up by the Phillies, or is this something totally different? I guess this is different, huh? Top baseball. Did he actually? Okay, so you're saying the Phillies need to draft him. So he has not been selected yet. He's from Mainland, which is that 97.3 area, actually. I know the name. I heard all about him and whatnot. I for some reason, I tied him into the kid that's throwing gas, unless that is him, because it does say something about the top performing center or whatnot. But, yeah, I do know of him. I guess maybe I'm just tying 2 stories together, though, which I might be. I might be tying 2 together. Connor Brogdon it's different. Connor Brogdon's a relief pitcher, so win-loss to relief pitchers is a totally different story as well. The Caps Bruins is going to be must-watch TV. Yeah, you're damn right. I can't wait for Saturday. I can't wait for Saturday to come along, and we're going to be watching some playoff hockey. I can't wait to watch the Toronto Maple Leafs face off against the Montreal Canadiens. It's going to be amazing to see the NHL playoff start. Like, I'm super pumped up. I'm super amped. It's going to be amazing for sure. For sure. Yeah, Alec Boehm came up huge last night. There's no denying that. And then, yeah, we can get into Joe Girardi's decision in the sixth. I didn't love it. I understood because Chase Anderson was finally throwing well, and you thought that maybe he'd be able to record it out in the sixth, and he was strong to that point. Here's his stat line prior to what happened in the sixth inning. So, or excuse me, after what happened in the sixth inning. So keep in mind, it's a little inflated based off of what was there in the sixth, in the top half of the sixth when the Phillies batted. But he went 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks, and 85 pitches. So that's after the home run by Trey Turner. Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't love the decision out of Joe Girardi. It's crazy because I've seen in other situations this year where there was less damage to be done. Joe Girardi pinch hit for Chase Anderson and throw Brad Miller up at the plate just to try and spark the offense a bit. So now you have bases loaded, 0 outs, and you elect to throw Chase Anderson up there. Maybe that's because he figured if there was a failure, you had Andrew McCutchen, you had Gene Segura, and Gene Segura has been your hottest hitter. Andrew McCutchen has been unbelievable at the dish as of late. So 2 of your best hitters to that point up at the mount, up at the plate. If Chase Anderson does fail, you're going to be able to get those insurance runs anyway. Maybe that was his mentality to build Chase Anderson's confidence as well. But, yeah, I didn't love it. I did not love it. It's your 5th starter. If you can pinch hit for him in that moment, please do. But Alec Boehm came up big in the 8th, and the guy that you would have put on the in the batter's box at that moment came up big later to knock in Odubel Herrera. So, for what it is, and I want to look up what Alec Boehm is hitting with runners in scoring position or with the bases loaded in general. Because I know he was batting 217, 214, something in that range yesterday at the time. And that's just full. That's not situationally. That's just full. So if you go to with batters, let's see. Alec Boehm, runners in scoring position, he's hitting 368, which is just ridiculous. Only 76 at bats, but ridiculous. Bases loaded. Do we have bases loaded? 375, but he only has 8 at bats. So once again, still not enough of a big sample size to fully give it, a full body of work here. But I think runners in scoring position in general has enough to satisfy my needs. My man's hitting 368 with 400 OBP in that situation, 4.6 slug, 861 OPS. So, yeah, work with the numbers. With men on, he's hitting 336. So, Alec Boehm, even though he's been struggling as of late, and there's no denying he's been struggling as of late, my man has been hitting. He's hitting 221 now after yesterday. He was hitting even worse than that before yesterday's at-bat. It hasn't been the smoothest for Alec Boehm, but if you look at the numbers with bases loaded, Yeah, the Nats did fail. It was the 6th inning? No, excuse me. It was the 7th inning. Kinsler allowed that pinch hit Zimmerman double with 2 outs. Alvarado had that insane back and forth battle with Trey Turner up at the mound that resulted in that pitch that went 5,000 feet too high. And now it was 1st and 3rd. Juan Soto was walked in 4 pitches, and he had bases loaded for Bell, and Bell ended up striking out. Thank God there was a K to end things, and JT Realmuto got hurt in that at-bat as well. I think that was the at-bat that JT Realmuto had the foul tip on in that 7th. But, yeah, they had bases loaded. They squandered that opportunity. So there was a lot. It was crazy. How many long at-bats was there yesterday? It started with the crazy one with Gene Segura, 14-pitch at-bat that resulted in a line drive, fly out to center field. Trey Turner versus Alvarado. Didi had a long one in there. Kyle Schwarber went toe-to-toe with, who was on the mound for Schwarber? Coonrod. That was Coonrod that they went back and forth on. There was a lot of back and forth action between the pitchers, long at-bats, but that's the beauty of it for sure. Oh, no doubt. It's going to be a difference maker for the playoffs when you're talking about a lot more bodies involved. It's going to be fun to hear crowds again. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the crowds. I'm ready for the crowds. I hope Mike Scott doesn't appear in the playoffs. I would imagine this goes back to I'm giving Doc Rivers the benefit of the doubt. Whether I should or shouldn't, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I would like to imagine he recognizes there's no business in Mike Scott playing at all. There's a trouble with small ball. Dwight Howard might not work in every scenario. Is Ben Simmons going to hold his own? Are you going to go Mike Scott back up for Tobias Harris? Is it always going to be Matisse Thybulle? I mean, my answer is simple. Mike Scott doesn't deserve to play in regular season, okay? Mike Scott doesn't deserve to even play in the regular season, let alone let's have a discussion about how many playoff minutes he's going to get. So I'm trying to give Doc Rivers the benefit of the doubt that he knows and he recognizes that there's nothing there for Mike Scott. But at the same time, I've been questioning what the hell Doc Rivers has been doing with the bench all season long, where I think I'm allowed to be a little concerned too. That's where I'm at. That is where I'm at. When is Cork Moss coming back? He's been key to the. I don't know if he's been key. Cork Moss has never been key to anything, in my opinion. And to be fair, I mean, he was actually playing because there were so many injuries and guys being out and whatnot. So Furkan, I mean, it wasn't the key to the bench. He was actually getting starting minutes at times, and he filled in whether some guys were not available for whatnot. I mean, Cork Moss has never been key for anything. Let's be realistic. Will Ben start shooting jump shots in the playoffs? In what world? In what world? There's no way, Tony. No way. He hasn't done it at all. And he throws a couple games out there against the Bulls, or I guess that was against the Houston Rockets. He threw one in there yesterday. I mean, there's no way he's going to go from never shooting at all to all of a sudden being this jump shot force. So no, there's no way. There's no way that you're going to get Ben Simmons just flipping the switch out of nowhere, out of the blue on us. There's no way. I'll give this Eagles 6 or 7 wins, says Savion. Is that how you pronounce it, Savion? I'll give you 6 to 7 games this season. I could see 6 wins. I'm in that 6 wins category for sure. I'll give him 6 wins. I don't know who's going to be the 8th seed. I don't know. Will it be the Hornets? Will it be the Pacers? I don't know. Let's look at the NBA standings right now. And honestly, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn who it is. You're gonna whoop whoever's ass it is. The Hornets are 33 and 36. The Pacers are 33 and 36. The Celtics are 35 and 34. I want to see what I saw about the Sixers, the Heat. I saw something on Twitter about the Heat possibly being who did I see it from? Was it Derek Bodner? I don't think it was. No. Was it John Clark? I don't want to just say something random because I don't remember exactly what it was. So I don't want to just say something in general and it be not even close to what happens. All right. Let's see. Sixers, Heat, second round. It had something to do with the second round. But I don't know. I don't know. I can't find it. And I don't want to just say anything in general. So, regardless, not a big deal. Not a big deal. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was something that I read wrong in general or quickly glanced over and whatnot. So, doesn't really matter in general. But in terms of the 8th or 9th, I don't care. Give me whoever. Give me whoever in the first round. Give me whoever in the second round. It's irrelevant to me. The Sixers team has shown me enough for sure. I could be hard on him. I could be hard. It's year 4. I could be hard on him. Ben's flaws are maddening, says Sixers 205, but you can't be too hard on him after last night. Him, Tobias, and Maxey were the only ones that scored. You're right, but this has been a problem. It's like, and I'm going to bring this up, I know, in another Sixers postgame show, but if you look at Julius Randle, Look at how Julius Randle has added to his game. Look at the jump from Julius Randle from everything, physically, just body frame wise, and the approach to the game and the skill set. In what universe can Julius Randle make such a large addition to his game in such a short amount of time, but Ben Simmons won't shoot a basketball? Julius Randle wasn't this guy that is just unbelievable from all around the floor. And then he became this player. I'm watching Julius Randle do it. I can't watch Ben Simmons do it. How can you watch Julius Randle and then be satisfied with Ben Simmons? Julius Randle, at one point in his career, averaged 0 3-point attempts per game. Then in his second year, that was one. He had one game. Okay, that's different. His second year, Julius, and I'm going to bring this up again, all right, because you know me, I like to rant about Ben Simmons. So I am going to bring this up in a post-game podcast. Julius Randle in 2015, 2016, 0.4 3-point attempts per game. He went from 27% from three to 41% from three in 5 years of play. Okay? So 0.4, 0.9, 0.5. And then there was a monster jump of 2.7 3-point attempts, 3.6 3-point attempts, and now he's at 5.4. Watch Julius Randle's additions to his game, and then tell me that we're being too hard on Ben Simmons. So once again, I will bring those stats up in a post-game show. If you heard it here, you're going to hear it again, because that bothers me. Bothers me. Yeah, but Luka's different because Luka was always a star player. Julius Randle, he wasn't always that star player. Nice player, not a star player. When the Knicks signed him, it was like, what are they doing with all these power forwards? What are they going to do? Now it's, how do you re-sign him? And how do you make sure he doesn't let go? No, stop it. He doesn't shoot a basketball. It's easier to improve. Now we're saying that Ben is so good. Like, no, come on. I mean, you're saying that Ben had 0. If anything, how about this to throw it back at you? You're saying he's so good that there's not a lot of room for improvement. Then how about this? You're not wrong that he's so good. That he only had to improve in one area, and he's not doing it. While Julius Randle had to get better at 5 spots on the floor, and he got better at 5. Maybe 5's too much. Maybe it's 3. So you're telling me Julius Randle could add to 3 parts of his game in a lot of different ways, and now Ben Simmons only had to be better at 1, and he still can't do the 1. So one player could get better at 3, and Ben can't get better at 1. How that doesn't bother you is crazy. Crazy. Yeah, obviously Ben Simmons is still better than Julius Randle. That's not the discussion. The discussion is, how can you see one player add such a huge layer to his game like Julius Randle did, who isn't as good as Simmons, and Simmons can't do it? So you're right. Simmons is better. That's why when I look at Julius Randle, it bothers me that a better player in Ben Simmons won't do it. Who will have a better career, Zion or Luka? Probably two totally different players. They're both going to be phenomenal. I think Luka's game is going to make me feel like Luka because he does it all, and he's got the rock in his hands, while Zion, who is unbelievably athletic and unguardable, he doesn't have the ball in his hands like Luka does, and Luka dictates more. I'm going to say Luka, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong. So I'm going to say Luka, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong. I don't know why I said that twice. $2 more coming in from Furcon Corkmoss. About to go swim. Okay, going for a swim. Have a great stream. Go Phillies. Thank you so much, Furcon Corkmoss. But that, go for a swim. Good tell you the last time I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go for a swim. Just going to go for a swim. Thank you so much, man. Well, no. See, we do this all the time. This is where we cross the line. You're allowed to play Call of Duty. Playing Call of Duty has nothing to do with being not shooting the basketball. He spends it him playing Call of Duty and banging models. That's fine by me. There's no issue with that. That's not the reason why he doesn't shoot a basketball. Okay, that's not why he does it. You're allowed to do it. What's the difference? All right, so if Ben wasn't playing Call of Duty and at night he was watching TV, that wouldn't bother you. But if he's playing Call of Duty, that bothers you. Playing Call of Duty and doing things outside, you're allowed to have a life. You're allowed to be a human being. To act as if playing video games means that you're not working on your craft and all that's stupid. That's silly. If he, let's say he had a family, right? Like if Joel Embiid was to hang out with his kid instead of playing basketball, and then Joel Embiid was to play FIFA 21 and not be playing basketball, it doesn't matter. You're not playing basketball. So it doesn't matter what you're doing outside of not playing basketball. You're allowed to be a human being and wind down and do what makes you happy outside of basketball. You don't have to be basketball 24/7. That's asinine in my opinion. So, to say like all he does is play Call of Duty and bang models instead of play bat, you're allowed to have a life. LeBron hangs out with his family. You're allowed to hang out with your family. You're allowed to do something other than basketball. That's not my point. When he is when he is working on the craft, it's not being added to the game enough in game. Like I think he does shoot. Like I genuinely do feel that he works at it, shoots a million times. Him and Sam Cassell has gone strong with working out in the gym. To act as if Ben Simmons doesn't do it, he does. He does, and that's the more frustrating part. In the open gym, he does shoot it. He shoots it all the time. Non-stop, shooting the basketball over and over and over again, working on it, and then never does it. Never does it. So I think that only adds another layer to the frustration of we know that he is shooting the basketball in his off time. We know him and Sam Cassell has been driving this home in his brain to take that next stride. It's just not there. No basketball 24/7. Yes, no basketball 24. No basketball 24/7. I'm a little, am I reading this the wrong way with the comma? Is something throwing me off? I don't know. Brodes, it sounds like people can't draw the line with Ben. Praised. I think to be honest with you, I think I'm in the perfect spot. I'll rip him to shreds and I'll praise him to death. There's a reason why I feel this strongly about Ben, because I was a Ben lover forever, and I still am. I am amazed with what he can do. I'm also amazed with how he hasn't done what he hasn't done yet. Like, look, people talk about this all the time. Trading Ben. I still wouldn't even trade Ben for Zach LaVine. I'm not trading Ben just to get rid of Ben, and that shows you how I feel about him. That shows you how strong I am with my feelings towards Ben. James Harden, yes. Bradley Beal, yes. Zach LaVine, no. I'm not trading Ben Simmons to just trade Ben. That shows you the value that I think, I'm not just getting rid of him to get rid of him. But it's like, dude. And I like, it's crazy because the Ben Simmons supporters that are worried about like this lack of all, it's like, how can you watch an NBA basketball player for 4 seasons and think that this is okay? I mean, it really makes my brain hurt. Makes my brain hurt. Irving was so bad too. It's crazy. That's random as shit. Unless I missed something in the chat talking about the Oakland A's, but crazy how we could have had this. Lowry, Curry, Harden, Harris, Embiid. Yeah, I mean, in theory, you could have had that lineup, I guess. I'm trying to think. Would you, to get Harden? Yeah, but then your bench might have been worse because you probably would have had to give one of the young players away for the Harden with Ben Simmons. It wouldn't have just been one-on-one, or with Lowry, that is. Yeah, with Lowry, you probably would have had to give up some pieces too with the bench because Danny Green would have been, because of the cap, you would have had to max your salaries. So Danny Green would have been in there for that. And you would have had to give up a Tyrese Maxey, a Matisse Thybulle, a Shake Milton. So that would have been your starting five, but you would have been very limited. George Hill, maybe. It would have, I mean, it would have had a snowball effect on what you would have done afterwards and all. But yeah, you probably could have had that as your starting five, which would have been crazy. Well, that's why we have Joel Embiid, Matthew. Joel Embiid says, nope, Matthew says, what happens if everyone backs off Ben in the playoffs, which is going to happen, dares him to shoot, which is going to happen, and the offense sucks? That's what we don't know if it's going to happen or not. We need to wait and see if Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris is going to make up for the Ben Simmons flaws. Will the offense suck? Who knows? Joel Embiid could be on a different level. Joel Embiid could have been on a tear. Joel Embiid could have been a monster. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if Joel Embiid makes up for the flaws of the one Ben Simmons. You know? That's where we need to see how it goes. If he's going to limit you offensively, which we know he is Joel Embiid's dominance and is Joel Embiid's presence going to be such a lethal weapon? But my fear is teams are going to be able to throw different looks at you, and those different looks are going to come because of Ben Simmons being such a non-factor in the half-court sets. Imagine if Ben is a 50% three-point shooter holding out until the finals. No shot. No shot in hell. Oh, I got you, David. I got you. I understand what you were saying. Harden trade was too much for me. He is old. He's not old. And everyone only mentions Ben's playoff struggles, but Harden, you're right. Harden does have struggles, but if you pair him with Joel Embiid, I think it's a different story. At the other situations for James Harden, he was the guy. He wouldn't be the guy. That's the difference. He'd be the secondary guy. So you'd have Joel Embiid being your superstar, James Harden being your Robin, Tobias Harris being your third. There's a big difference with James Harden being the guy and being the one that you rely on heavily, and then him being the secondary unit and that secondary piece, which changes it for sure. James Harden, his age is, how old is he, 33? He is 31. Jeez, no, he's not old. Not old. Come on, James Harden's old. 31 is prime. Go win yourself a championship. Would you want Kevin Durant? We want to see Kevin Durant's age? 32. This is prime. Go get yourself a championship. This is right in your prime of NBA superstar. It didn't have anything to do with James Harden being old. But yeah, there's a huge difference. Would he? Harden would definitely think he's better than Embiid. No, but that's not how this works. Do you think James Harden right now, Kevin Durant's the guy. James Harden is the second guy. Joel Embiid is the guy. James Harden would be the second guy. And you can have a 1 and 2 that's very close to one another. Kevin Durant and James Harden, in terms of scoring, they're very close to one another. But yeah, I mean, Joel Embiid's MVP. Joel Embiid's playing MVP level. So yes. And to think it would be anything else is asinine. Yes. He'd have the ball in his hands. It would be awesome to see him and Joel Embiid play a two-man game nonstop. There's a huge difference with James Harden being the guy, the number one guy, and being the secondary guy. We ain't ever going to see Ben Simmons shoot. Get used to it. Yeah, no doubt. I see a lot of Jamal Murray and Tyrese Maxey. I don't know if it's necessarily Jamal Murray. I don't know if it's... I've never watched Maxey and go, Jamal Murray. Now that I think about it, I don't know if they're really... Let's see. Tyrese Maxey player comparison. Let's see what came out of the draft for player comparison out of him. I want to see if it was anything. Tyler Dorsey is the name that comes up here. Tyler Dorsey. Now, there's nothing really that says that's a weird comparison, in my opinion. Tyler Dorsey played 3 years in the NBA. He played 2 for the Atlanta Hawks, and he was a second-round draft pick, and he played 1 for the Memphis Grizzlies. I think that's a very weird and strange comparison. I don't know if there's no one that comes to my mind for Tyrese Maxey, quite frankly. I think it's kind of just been Tyrese Maxey being Tyrese Maxey. He's explosive. It's a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of everyone. He's got like a different style, like the explosiveness to the rim. And I'm not going to say it's to the same level, but the explosiveness to the rim almost reminds me a little bit of De'Aaron Fox. Now, I don't think it's to that level of explosion, but when he does go to the rim, it does kind of remind me of that to a level, to like a level. NBA comparison, Forbes. I don't really know if I like that one either. I don't know if I like that one either. I don't think he reminds me. I don't know if I like Forbes as a comparison. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is. That's an interesting one. But all right, everyone, it's 10 o'clock here. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me on Coffee with Brodes this morning. It's hump day. So we're going to be, Forbes from the Spurs, yes. We're going to be giving away the Devontae Smith jersey today. There will be a winner for that very shortly. And I will also be posting the new giveaway that you will not want to miss as well on my Twitter at Brodes81. Be engaged. Be ready. It will be dropping soon. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me. We got a Phillies game tonight, 7 o'clock. Can't wait. And then we got some news with the Eagles schedule. So that'll be all fun tonight. Thank you, everyone. See you guys later.